Don't you love it when things are both easier and more affordable? Like when the rain washes your car for you. Or like when you save up to 10% by bundling your renters and auto insurance with USAA. Bundle with USAA and start saving. Get a quote today.
Hilton brings you new ways to stay with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
Halliday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength Halliday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner by knockout is Halliday. Halliday, bring it on.
From the Fifth Quarter Studio in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to the Coaching Youth Hoops Podcast.
They're playing basketball.
Here's our hosts, Steve Collins, and Bill Flitter.
All right, welcome to Coaching Youth Hoops. Before we get started, hey, how are you?
Doing awesome.
Before we get started, I'd like to give you a big shout out to our sponsors. First of all, obviously, coachingyouthhoops.com, the one-stop shop for basketball. It's a Swiss Army knife for youth basketball coaches. How about that, Coach? I've never mentioned.
Coach in a box, as someone told me the other day, which I love. Coach in a box, everything you need.
Yeah. We'll keep this G-rated, but there's an SNL thing about something in a box. And then what's our other sponsor, Coach?
The Basketball Play Creator. So if you head over to the basketballplaycreator.com. I discovered this by a Google search. I was looking for something simple. I didn't need anything complicated to create plays and drills and everything. And this, I found this tool and I absolutely fell in love with it because it's simple. It creates playbooks easily, and I can share those playbooks with players. It's everything you need. I've seen a lot of on our Facebook group, even of coaches, handwritten plays down. I'm like, go to the basketballplaycreator.com and just put it all in there. Then you have it forever, and then you can tweak it as you need it, and you can share it out with your players. So
yes, doesn't have to be on a napkin anymore. Sorry, Marty, does not be on a napkin anymore. All right, so what's today's topic, Coach?
We are going to talk about how to manage the game when you don't have a lot of players. So a lot of times, right, if you're in a rec league or whatever, you start off with 10, it could be your AAU team. You start off with 10, 12 players on your team. Tournament time comes around and all of a sudden you're short players because they're on vacation. They got other sports going on.
Right.
Whatever.
Johnny gets the flu or strep throat, I mean, it's great. So both of us have coached a lot at this level. It's like you show up to practice, think you're going to have 9 or 10, and you have 4.
Yeah,
right. It's like you go, what? Like my entire I spent all of the afternoon figuring out what I was going to do, and now I gotta pivot, because I just don't have enough things.
Well, I have 16 on my summer team. Okay. Right. People thought I was crazy. Like, why are you carrying 16? Because I know that throughout summer, I will have maybe 7 or 8.
Right.
50% gone. And that's
gone.
Actually,
and they should be gone. They're on family vacations.
Right.
They're doing something.
Absolutely.
But it's
not blaming them, but you still have to manage the game.
Yeah. So here I have a couple theories with this. First theory with practice is you always in the back pocket have to have skill work in your back pocket. When your numbers are low and you got 4 or 5, your small sided games, your 1-on-1, your dribbling, your 2-on-2, your your passing.
Threes, exactly.
Yes, whatever you have. So I usually had 2 or 3 just sheets of stuff I was going to do, because when I show up and I didn't have enough, that's what I would pull that one out. I'd put the one I'd save the one I made out for the actual practice. And I go, okay, we're going to do it's skill work. Looks like it's skill work today. We're going to work on our individuals and small sided stuff. So that practice is a lot easier. The bigger issue, I think, and you tell me, is the games when you have 5 or 6 guys.
Yeah, when you have 5
for the games. How do you do?
Yeah, I ran into this. Yeah, I ran into this the other last weekend. Like I said, 16 players on the team. Had to borrow 2 from another team, right? Or call some players that I knew that were playing for somebody else, and they don't know the plays and they haven't practiced together. They're basketball players, but the other issue we had was I like to run a fast-paced game, up and down, score quickly. I had to completely trash that idea. One, it was 100 degrees outside, and we're playing in a tin can of a gym, so it is.
You telling me every gym in California doesn't have air conditioning?
No. It was okay. It was a sauna inside the gym. It was unbelievable. So I knew it was going to be that. We had back-to-back games, one at 5, one at 6, 2-3 minutes in between games, and I'm like, okay, I could play with 6, right? But they're going to be just tired. And plus, my point guard had 2 bum ankles from the game before.
Overplaying.
So
yes.
Yeah. So now they're in the heat. They're playing. I'm like, what do I do? Right. So I told them, this is my pregame speech. Everything I taught you all season long, throw it out the window.
We're going to walk the ball up the floor.
Basically, that's what we're going to walk the ball up. Don't worry about scoring quickly. Take time off the clock. Pass the ball around. Right. All of these, actually, all of the opposite. Okay, the lesson I learned in that, though, and that's what they did. They walked the ball out most of the time, right? If the other team scored, they weren't in a hurry. We did dribble handoffs at the top until so the middle was open. 4 or 5 dribble handoffs, just back and forth, on above the 3-point line. And they executed perfectly. So I had to change my game strategy. And little things, simple things that I knew they could do that was going to preserve as much energy as possible, right, to win that game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else you do when you're low. I mean, when you're low number, you use your timeouts to rest.
Use all your timeouts, right?
Yeah,
had to do that.
Like, there's not much you can do at that point. No.
Yeah.
I mean, it's. I think you adjusted to that properly. It's like, well, here's what we've been doing, and here's what we have to do, and I always use that as a lesson. Like, this is life, Yeah. I woke up and my water heater's not working. I wasn't expecting that when I went to bed, but now what am I going to do? Because I have cold water. It's like anything in life. It's like you show up and you got 6 kids. It's like, it's what it is. Were you in shape? Because that's always my concern when you're short.
Yeah, we actually we did a really good job. The other team had 10, right? So they were doing 5 in, 5 out pretty much. We lost in overtime. Our first game was in overtime. We lost by 2 points. So the one we missed a couple layups down the stretch to win the game. But then I thought, are you kidding me? Here we have back-to-back games. It felt like 100 degrees in the gym. And now we go into an extra 2 minutes of overtime, right, in this game. So the kids are already tired. Anyway, so we adjusted that. I subbed a lot quicker.
Yes.
Everybody. And I had to be more strategic about my subbing. I had to make sure I had a ball handler on the court at all times, right? So thankfully, we had the right personnel to kind of manage that load a little bit. A lot of times, of course, you don't. I subbed every 2 minutes or so, or less even in some cases.
And the problem is maybe you pull somebody when they have 2 fouls sometimes, but Now all of a sudden it's like you can't because
Right.
they need, you only got one sub, and then all of a sudden now we got to play some. I don't want to play 4, because at 5, so now all of a sudden maybe I got to play some zone. I don't love playing. So I think the pivoting also has to have coaches too. I think.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and some of the things. And here's the thing. So I knew we were going to be short, and the reason I knew we were going to be short, we use Team Snap to manage our teams, and then they have the availability tab. So everybody checked in, they're going to be in or out, and I try to be diligent with that with the parents, to train the parents to make sure they check in and out if they're going to be at the games. So if I get to that point where I show 5, I need to go find some other players, right? That could step in. So trying to head it before it happens.
Yes,
is really
as a youth coach, that's an important thing too. Yes, don't stop it before it's a problem. Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I know a lot of coaches. You talk with the CYO, they know, that kid. If it's winter season, although he might be a good athlete, but his primary sport is soccer. He's doing travel soccer during basketball season. So it's like, you know what? I'm not going to recruit that. He's not going to be my number 1 pick because I know he's not going to be at games or practices, right? So that's another thing to think about when you're doing your draft, or if you don't have a draft, then you kind of get the team that you have. But there's you can look at some things like that up front, right? Either Team Snap or even during your draft to deal with it. But you might have to change your game philosophies, sub more, use all your timeouts. Rely, obviously a pregame speech and say, look, what I always say is, look to the players, if you see anybody on the bench, no, we're on an island. Right. You guys are on an island.
This is us.
Now you have to survive. Right.
It's us. It's totally
it's us. So there's no breaks. You're not coming out of the game. You're playing the whole thing, right? Do the best you can. And that's all we can do. And then at the next practice, get on your teammates. Where were you? Yeah.
Right. It's you got to do what you got to do. But yeah, I know that's a bigger issue, I think.
Yeah. At the youth level, that's tough though, right? I know, but
and the kids don't have it's not the kids' choice. Well, that's the issue I have at the youth level too, and they're not showing up. It's mom or dad's choice most of the time.
Yeah.
So I can't get mad. I'm not mad at the kid. When they're 17 and they're making a choice to go hang out with their girlfriend, then that's their choice.
That's a different story.
Because they can make it. Anything else, Coach?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Make sure you go over and check out coachingyouthhoops.com. Some great stuff coming up soon. Bye-bye.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.